In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you amazing bands that include both Canadian and American artists to create some fantastic music. Come in and see what I'm talking about. Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hopefully, a great morning this morning. It is Friday morning, as always, a coffee kind of morning. Cheers, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. It's cold out there today, man. Minus 14 degrees Celsius. What is that Fahrenheit wise? I don't know. It's cold. It's cold. I don't want to bring politics into my channel whatsoever. But there's a lot of crap going on between America and Canada right now. Kind of scary. Kind of unsure of what's happening. But that's about it. That's all I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to get into who, what, and where. I love America. I love American people. I'm not sure what America's all about these days or whoever's leading America. But the American people, the people that I've met on this channel are fantastic. And also there's some awesome Canadian-American bands that have blended well together. And the artists within those bands are both Canadian and American and created some fantastic music. There's also 3 awesome record producers, Canadian record producers, that have helped generate some amazing American albums. So that's what I want to talk about today. Music brings us all together. I don't care what nationality you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care who you are, what color you are. I just know that music brings us all together. And that's what I want to focus on today. So let's start off with some producers. 3 amazing producers. Starting off with Robert Allen Ezrin, or Bob Ezrin as we all know him. Canadian music producer and keyboardist. Listen to this lineup. He's worked with Lou Reed, Alice Cooper, Aerosmith, Kiss, Pink Floyd, Deep Purple, Peter Gabriel, Andre Botticelli, Fish. He's worked 6 decades in his career. He also has been awarded the Official Order of Canada, the second highest civilian honor in Canada. All kinds of Juno Awards. He's just a fantastic producer. I love him when he's producing all these Deep Purple albums that have recently come out. Of course, Alice Cooper. He's worked exclusively with him for years. Just amazing producer. Amazing producer. How about Bob Rock, or Robert Johns Rock, as we may not know his real name. Canadian record producer, engineer, and musician. He started out as a recording engineer and sound mixer. He collaborated with Bruce Fairbairn, which I'm going to talk about next. He engineered and mixed several influential rock albums. Loverboys Get Lucky in 1981, Bon Jovi Slippery When Wet in 86, Aerosmith Permanent Vacation in 87. He also was part of the Payolas, a great Canadian band. Big hit Eyes of the Stranger, from their album No Stranger to Danger. That album won 4 Juno Awards. Just fantastic. He also became part of Rock and Hide when the Payolas broke up. As a producer, he's worked with Motley Crue, The Cult, Metallica. He produced the Black Album for Metallica, Sonic Temple for The Cult, Dr. Feelgood for Motley Crue. Each of those albums sold millions. He also then went on to work further with Metallica and The Cult. Just fantastic stuff. And Bruce Fairbairn, unfortunately, we lost him in 1999. A Canadian musician and record producer. He was part of the rock band Prism in 1977. Great band, Prism. As a trumpet player, he also wanted to include horns into a lot of the production that he was doing. He went on to later produce Prism albums. He was an active music producer from 76 until his death in 99. He worked with Loverboy, Blue Oyster Cult, Bon Jovi, Poison, Aerosmith, AC/DC, Scorpions, Van Halen, Chicago, The Cranberries, INXS, Kiss, and Yes. Again, he wanted to put horn arrangements into rock music productions. Some of his albums sold millions and millions of copies for sure. He was a 3-time award winner of Juno Awards, Producer of the Year, also Grammy Award winner as well, and he was inducted in the Canadian Hall of Fame in 2000. Just remarkable stuff. So again, an example, or 3 examples of Canadian producers who put their minds together with American artists and made just magic. How about some bands that blend American and Canadian artists together so well? Now, this next band, well, not being Canadian, there is a Canadian story to them. Talking about Heart. This is the album Little Queen. Amazing album. But there's a Canadian story to this one. So they were formed in Seattle, Washington in 73. Guitarist Roger Fisher became a draft dodger. He got a draft notice in the mail. He escaped out the rear window as his house was being raided. He escaped to Canada. And then one day in 71 or 72, he went back across the border to go to a Hocus Pocus concert. That's where he met Ann Wilson at the concert, and they fell in love and decided to move back to Canada with Mike. Also, artist Steve Fossen moved back to Canada as well in 72. Brian Johnson and John Hanna on keyboards joined all together, and they created the band Heart. And then Ann's sister Nancy joined in 74, and then became involved with Roger as well. So it's a whole collaboration of stuff. But yeah, they used Canada as a safe haven to escape the draft. And if Ann and Roger didn't meet together, Heart wouldn't be Heart. So there you have it. James Gang, of course, popular with Joe Walsh, American rock band in Cleveland, Ohio. That's the big lineup: Joe Walsh, Tom Criss, and Jim Fox. But at some point, a Canadian joined the band, Dominic Triano. There he is there. An amazing Italian-Canadian guitarist. So he's not born in Canada, but he became a Canadian citizen in 1955. Man, I can't speak. He was part of the original band Bush. Yes, there was a band Bush before Gavin. What's his last name? I can't remember his last name. The English version of the band. That's why band, when they toured in Canada, had to be called Bush X because of the original band Bush. Of course, he was Dominic Triano was part of James Gang. He was also a member of the Guess Who. He's also recorded music for film and television. He was also on other musicians' albums and worked as a producer. His family immigrated to Toronto in 55 or 50s, early 50s, but he was originally born in Italy. But to me, Canadian citizen for sure. Pardon me. I still got this cough going on. It's holding on. It's not letting go. How about Blood, Sweat, and Tears? American jazz rock band formed in New York in 1967. Of course, the big brass section with rock instruments going on. All kinds of band changes, members coming and going. But they were also fronted in their probably the most commercially successful years by Canadian vocalist David Clayton Thomas from Toronto. It's hard to tell which one he is on here. Oh, there he is there. younger version of him for sure. Um, we can't talk about merging Canadian and American artists without talking about the band. Probably the best example of a merger of two fine countries together, creating amazing music. Canadian American rock band from Toronto, Canadian Rick Danko, Garth Hudson, Richard Manuel, and Robbie Robertson, with an American drummer named Levon Helm. Just remarkable stuff. Unfortunately, they're not with us anymore. They're all gone, which is sad. They were also part of Bob Dylan's Electric Tours, and before they became the band. And also, they started out as the Hawks. They were a backup band for rockabilly star Ronnie Hawkins way back in the day. Yeah, Robbie Robertson joined them when he was like 16 or 17 years old. But yeah, amazing Canadian band. The Mamas and Papas, California-based American rock band, around from 65 to 68, something like that. They defined the music scene in the counterculture of the time. You got John Phillips, Cass Elliot, Michelle Phillips, and Canadian amazing vocalist Denny Doherty. Beautiful harmonies. Yeah, Denny Doherty had such a powerful vocals. He had such powerful vocals for sure. There he is, there in the corner. But yeah, a great blend of Canada and America together. Buffalo Springfield, Canadian American rock band from LA. You got Canadian Neil Young, Bruce Palmer, and Dewey Martin, and American Stephen Stills and Richie Furay. Big hit For What It's Worth. You know, just amazing stuff. I love this album. I love this band. It's so good. But yeah, mainly Canadian, believe it or not. And continuing on with Neil Young, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. And of course, you got three Americans in David Crosby, Stephen Stills, and Graham Nash. Actually, Graham Nash is British. But you got Neil Young. And then that just brought them to superstardom. Not that they weren't popular before that, but amazing stuff. Again, not a blend of American and Canadian artists on this one, but there is an American story with this band, with Moxie. Amazing Toronto band, formed in '73. Pretty big in Canada, but then an American station in San Antonio heard them, and then that just made them big. They also toured with AC/DC, which was no slouch for the band. That gave them a lot of exposure. But when they were recording this album, known as the Black Album, basically, there's a Black Album, the Red Album, they didn't realize that American guitarist Tommy Bolin was in the studio next door, and he could hear them working on this album. Guitarist Earl Johnson got kind of upset with the engineer and took off, and he was also tossed out of the studio. Tommy Bolin was asked to join in, and he gladly came in and did all but 2 guitar solos on this awesome album. So again, not a Canadian-American band, but there is an American influence on this band in Tommy Bolin. Tragic story with Tommy Bolin. Of course, he went on to play with Deep Purple. He's got 2 of his fantastic solo albums. Amazing stuff. The great Canadian-American band in Steppenwolf. These guys were formed in Toronto. They then moved to LA, And you got John Kay, Canadian, Goldie McJohn on keyboards, Canadian, and drummer Jerry Edmonton, Canadian. They were part of the band The Sparrows. And then they put up flyers in LA for another guitarist and a bassist. And American guitarist Michael Monarch joined, and bassist American Rushton Mover joined, and created this fantastic band, Steppenwolf. Great live album, by the way. Great live album, by the way. Styx, not originally a Canadian-American band. They were formed way back in 72 in Chicago, Illinois. Of course, with a mixture of progressive rock and art rock. Okay, Dennis DeYoung led the band through many great albums, and then was kicked out of the band. And then Canadian Lawrence Gowan joined the band, has been with the band since 1999 as their co-lead singer with Tommy Shaw. And they've released four amazing studio albums. Cyclorama in 2003, Big Bang Theory in 2005, The Mission in 2017, The Wonderful Crash of the Crown in 2021, and Circling from Above. Did I say four? I meant 5 albums. All excellent albums, co-led by Lawrence Gowan. But some people may not know this, and this is not a Canadian or an American story. It's more of a European-Canadian story. But Lawrence Gowan in Canada, we know him as Gowan. He's put out some amazing solo albums. And on his solo album, Great Dirty World, the third album by Gowan, released in '87, that made multi-platinum sales in Canada. You've got a huge single, Moonlight Desires, on this one. Co-sung, or backing vocals, by none other than Mr. John Anderson from Yes. And on bass is the remarkable bassist Tony Levin, who's worked with so many artists, and also part of King Crimson. So that's pretty remarkable that this Canadian superstar attracted two fantastic European artists. And it was also produced in Ringo Starr's home studio, if I'm getting that story right. So Ringo heard all of that album being put together, which is wonderful. How about Mountain? Hard rock, blues rock American band formed in Long Island, New York in '69, led by vocalist guitarist Leslie West, bassist vocalist Felix Papalardi, keyboard Steve Knight, and Canadian drummer Corky Lang. He and Leslie West have been the only members to appear on every studio album by Mountain. And finally, but not least, because there's thousands of examples of Canadian and American artists working together, but how about Dream Theater? This is their latest album, Parasinomia. Fantastic. Formed in '85 in Boston. Their latest lineup is John Petrucci on guitar, John Mayung on bass, Mike Portnoy on drums, Jordan Rudess on keyboards, and Canadian James Labrie. He has been the vocalist for these guys for a long time. But Canadian, American, fantastic album, fantastic band. Although this is a bonus showing as well. Not American, but there is a Canadian influence on here. How about Uriah Heep? Typically and originally an English rock band, but their current lineup, they were formed way back in '69. The current lineup, of course, has Mick Box, who has appeared on every studio album. Phil Lanzon on keyboards. Drummer Russell Gilbrook on drums. Did I say drummer? I did say drummer. Bassist Dave Rimmer. And Canadian lead vocalist Bernie Shaw, who has been Uriah Heep's lead vocalist since 1986. So Canadians are all over the place. Americans are all over the place. But it's so wonderful to see everyone blend together and work together. And that's the way it should be. Again, I love my American friends. And one day I'd love to visit. But I'm not going to go anywhere right at the moment. Not with everything going on. But hopefully, maybe one day for sure. Anyway, have yourself a great rest of the day. Love you all. We'll talk again soon. Bye now.